This is iDesign Lab, a podcast where creativity and curiosity meet style and design. Curator of interiors, furnishings, and lifestyles. Hosted by Tiffany Woolley, an interior designer and a style enthusiast, along with her serial entrepreneur husband, Scott. iDesign Lab is your ultimate design podcast, where we explore the rich and vibrant world of design and its constant evolution in style and trends. Today on the iDesign Lab, we're diving into the art and design of the perfect smile with Dr. Jackie Morocco, South Florida's premier orthodontist who's been creating confident, life-changing smiles for over 30 years. From braces to brilliance, Dr. Morocco has turned her passion into purpose, designing not just smiles, but joy and confidence that last a lifetime.
Welcome to the iDesign Lab podcast. Today we are joined by Jackie Morocco, Dr. Jackie Morocco,
Thank you.
who designs the most beautiful smiles, but also has designed a beautiful career and an amazing practice. So we're looking forward to a great conversation.
Thank you. Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
So as a doctor, it's an orthodontist. Am I saying it correctly?
Orthodontist, yes,
Right.
orthodontist. Specialist in, a dentist that specializes in orthodontics.
Mm-hmm.
You have to become a dentist first, and then
You do?
Yes, you do. It's interesting because I was just having this conversation with my daughter, who I just told you was thinking
Right.
about now going on into furthering her career and going into nursing. And I was explaining to her that I had to become a dentist first.
I never realized that.
Yeah. And then you choose, a specialty if you desire.
So you have to go through dental school, which is, how many years is that? That's
4 years.
4 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you have to go through more schooling.
Yes. So then you choose, if you get accepted, you go into a residency. And my residency was a 2.5-year residency. So another 2.5 years after dental school.
And did you know it was that you were going to pursue?
Yeah. So in high school, I had to get braces. Worst possible time ever, right? Hi, hello, going into your sophomore year. By the way, you need braces. I mean, I cried. Okay, like in the first orthodontist office my parents took me to, bawling. Like,
So it wasn't all beautiful and fancy.
it wasn't an issue of my teeth didn't look good. I had, my teeth looked great. It was an issue of 2 permanent teeth had not come in. And all of a sudden my dentist was like, hey, she still has these 2 baby teeth. Let's get her to the orthodontist and see what the problem is. So 15 years old, taken to the orthodontist, impacted eye teeth. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that story. And all of a sudden, the orthodontist is, okay, yes, you need braces. I bawled in his office. I got in the car. I said to my mom, I need a second opinion.
How are you doing this to me?
I don't even believe this came out of my mouth, but I remember this, of course. It was,
I think years ago,
it was traumatizing.
but I think years ago, people were more upset about getting braces than they are today. Is that kind of accurate?
They were hideous. They were hideous.
That whole metal mouth was like a
They were
thing.
the braces that wrapped around the teeth. I'm aging myself here, but
Right.
but they were
Really?
they were the braces that went all the way
Okay.
around, bands, if you will, bands around the braces. So bawling my eyes out. Wait a minute. All my friends just got their braces off. Like, what do you mean I need them on? Like, this is craziness. My mom says, okay, we'll get a second opinion. Got a second opinion. Liked that guy. I know. I just connected with that guy more. Dr. Jim Martusio. I love him.
So
He's
cute.
Warren, Ohio. Shout out to him.
Oh.
And he was just the greatest guy. And you know what? Looking back on it, of course, hindsight's 2020. It just came at the right time in my life when I was thinking about, what I wanted to
What
do.
your future would look
and
like.
I had been thinking about medicine at that time.
Okay.
So, and it's great. I mean, I'm from a small steel town in western Pennsylvania, right on the border of Ohio and Pennsylvania, between Pittsburgh and Erie, Pennsylvania,
Okay.
between Pittsburgh and Cleveland, right smack on the border. And I had been thinking about, geez, what do I want to do? And, what do successful people in my neighborhood look like?
Right.
I mean,
Doctors and lawyers?
Yeah, doctors and lawyers. So I'm thinking, okay, how about medicine?
Good for you.
Bam, I have to get braces. And back then, I was 16 by the time I got them on. So I'm driving, right? I mean, my parents, not one time did they go to an appointment with me. I took myself to
That's so
every
funny.
single appointment. I think about the parents and
Now
then
that
coming
you're
to the
dealing
appointment, I'm
with.
like, oh my goodness, wow. So I made all my own appointments. I got myself there.
So independent at a young age, too.
And the whole time I'm going to my appointments, I'm thinking to myself, look at this guy. He's dealing with happy people. They actually want this.
True.
Right. Yeah.
Very little insurance, like interference. Let's just put it that way. I mean, insurances can help certainly, but it doesn't cover the whole
not a
thing.
big thing
Yeah. And again, it all just depends on the type of practice you have. I'd go there, people were sitting on the floor in his waiting room. Like, he was so busy. He was the greatest guy, greatest personality, happy as could be. One day I say to him, I'm thinking about orthodontics as a career. And if he didn't sweep me up and pull me into his office and was like, Jackie, this is a great career for a woman. He's like, you don't have emergencies. You're not getting called out in the middle of the night.
So
You're not dealing with life or death.
So
You're making
true.
people happy, proud of their smiles, changing people's lives in that way. He's like, none of my kids want to go into this. You should go into this. He's like, then you can decide what type of practice you want to have. You can have your own practice. You can work for someone. You can have a family. He was the best, most inspiring person in my life.
So you're in high school at this time.
I'm in high school. So I'm braces, sophomore, junior, senior year of high school.
Oh, jeez.
Awful time to
So
have
you're
them.
wearing braces and you've kind of decided that's your career direction.
Yeah. So that's where I got the inspiration and the vision of becoming an orthodontist. And then, as my family will tell you, I just set my sight on that. And I knew the process. He explained it to me. He's like, you're going to have to go to dental school. You go, obviously undergrad and then dental school, and then beyond dental school, you have to apply for and get accepted to a residency. And you have, it's a very popular profession.
Really?
Is it really?
Well, it's a very popular specialty, I say, coming out of dental school. And I think there are more spots available for people today. But when I was going to school, I was going to say, I would think that it wouldn't 5 people in my residency. So they didn't have these huge residency programs. They have bigger ones now, but this is going back a ways.
I would think it would be a specialty in certain schools in certain areas.
Yeah. So I did my undergrad at Penn State. That's where I'm from, Pennsylvania. So I stayed in state for that. I went to Northwestern University in Chicago for dental school, 4 years there.
Great school.
Was done with the weather.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic school.
Yeah.
Love Chicago.
Windy
Shout out to
city.
my Chicagoans. I'm like, wonderful city, wonderful
you
place
just came
to be.
south right from there.
I went to Dallas. So
okay, I love
when
Dallas too.
when I was in dental school and I was, had my sights set on a residency, I decided I really wanted to get out of that cold and, the winters that last from like October through May, like
dark
so long,
too at 4 o'clock.
dark and gray. I was looking at Chapel Hill, UNC Chapel Hill, Baylor were like my top 2s. And then once I got into those, then I decided between those. So I ended up going to Dallas because, again, kind of going back to, I really loved being in the city in Chicago. And Chapel Hill was a little bit more of a more of a college campus sort of feel versus Dallas, which the dental school of Baylor, at the time it was Baylor, now it's UT Southwest. They're kind of part of the UT system. But it was Baylor's dental school at the time, and they are in Dallas. So they're not in Waco. They're in Dallas, the dental school. So I decided, let's go to Dallas. That sounds like a good, place to be. Still, you're in a city, but it's not.
So how long were you in Dallas for?
2.5 years.
Were you working?
I was doing my residency full time.
Okay.
So how does that work, doing the residency? So you apply through the school.
Yes.
And is the residency at a teaching?
Yes. So it's at a dental school. So just like I was in dental school at Northwestern, which is not on their Evanston campus. They're professional schools like Kellogg, their law, their dental, at the time dental, and they closed their dental school since, but medical, all the grad programs are downtown. Those are right on the Gold Coast, beautiful part of Chicago, great place to be for 4 years, a lot of fun. We would periodically go up to Evanston for some things, but I lived right downtown Chicago.
What a great experience.
Yeah, so same thing for Baylor's program. So Baylor, downtown Dallas, has their dental school and then has their specialty programs within the dental school, like oral surgery, periodontics, orthodontics,
Yeah, there are so many little different niches within the industry that you kind of forget about.
Yeah. I know when I entered dental school, I thought to myself, let me keep all my doors open.
Yeah, I would think so. See what
if I change my mind? What if I don't want to go ortho? I just wanted to do well, so all my doors were open. So I just,
So what happened after Dallas? Where did you?
Oh,
funny. How did you end up in Florida?
Great. Yeah, it's a great story, and I'll try to keep it short.
Did you meet Jack in Dallas?
Actually, no. I met Jack in South Florida. But
But what brought you to South Florida?
A boyfriend.
Okay.
A different boyfriend.
Okay.
So I had met somebody who was from
South Florida.
He had grown up in Miami, but he was in Palm Beach Gardens. So I started traveling back and forth to Florida. I really had never spent much time in Florida at all prior to that. I think our family came on one vacation to like Pompano Beach or something when I was growing up, but never, ever, ever pictured myself, in South Florida. But had this boyfriend, kind of did this back and forth. So I'm getting to the end of my goal, right? I set the goal of becoming the orthodontist in high school. Then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my goodness. Wow.
Like now it's happening.
Now you got to do something.
Where am I going? My dad's like, Jackie, we need a great orthodontist in Sharon, Pennsylvania.
Of course, they want you back home.
There's no way. I absolutely, shout out to Sharon. I absolutely love where I grew up. Wouldn't change it for anything. But I just had lived other places. And I was like, no, that's just not my vision. So I'm thinking to myself, where am I going to go? So this boyfriend says to me, hey, what do you think of South Florida? Why don't you check out South Florida? So, I start like sending out the snail mail with my CV, my photo.
Your resume.
There was no internet, there was no computer.
You had to follow up.
Yeah, the whole thing, right? And this orthodontist in Delray Beach reached out to me and she's like, oh, I could really use some help, like in my practice in Delray Beach. I'm like, okay, sure. And she wasn't requiring me to like sign a major contract. It was kind of a per diem thing. It just gave me the flexibility, freedom, just in case I didn't like it. What if the relationship doesn't work out, So I'm like, I always tell my kids, that's like my first what the hell moment of my life. Okay, what the hell?
My kids are reading a book right now. It's, what is it? Carpe diem. Seize the day. You have to like seize the moment.
It was literally like, because everything was like so planned out, before that. Like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do
Which
that.
I'm sure after being so regimented for so long to achieve this goal and so methodical in all of your steps and decisions.
So you moved to Delray?
I did.
How old are you at this point?
You lived in Marine Way, right?
I'm like 20. I'm 28 years old at this time. Yeah. So I lived on Marine Way. So I moved to downtown Delray when it was scary downtown Delray, right? Like I worked a very short time in that practice in Delray. And then we just shortly just realized that, okay, we're not a good match, so I remember calling my parents and saying, okay, I don't have a job or I'm going to leave this position. Can you hang in there with me for a little bit? Because they're still subsidizing my lifestyle.
Of course.
Lots of debt, lots of student debt, all the things. I promise I'm
committed.
I'm staying here. I'm committed. I have to find something. And wouldn't you know, again, I call these Godwinces, right? Like all of a sudden I get this call from an orthodontist in Boca who I had spoken to before I moved from Dallas to South Florida, but he wanted more of a serious contract and totally understandable, about it. But I just wasn't ready to commit to that. So all of a sudden he's calling me again. Hey, Jackie, what are you doing? You know, how's it going up there? How's it going with the practice? I said, it's crazy that you're calling because it's not going to work out. It's not the place for me. We just have different philosophies. And I'm definitely, as you guys are coming to know, I'm definitely committed to what my visions are.
Right.
And I just, I can't work for someone that our visions don't match.
Right,
and that's
right.
okay.
It
That
is
doesn't
okay,
make
right?
mine okay. It doesn't make mine better.
No. And
Then
thank
that-
God you went with that too.
It's just like a gut thing, right? And so he said to me, he's like, okay. He's like, let's talk. Let's open up a conversation again. And so we did. And then we ended up working together for 4 years. I still remained in Delray as far as living, but I worked out of his office in Boca Raton. And, and that was invaluable experience.
It is. My dad gave me that advice. Go work for someone.
Work.
Especially somebody that you respect and
Yes.
appreciate. Like
Highly
that
respected.
apprenticeship almost.
Totally different than the first practice I was in.
Yeah.
I had such respect for this doctor, Dr. Barry Matza.
I know he was
thrown
my
in
first dentist. Yeah.
And I have such respect for him then and now.
Yep.
And we had a great relationship and we worked well together for, 4 years. And then in that time I met Jack,
Okay.
So that's, we met through some mutual friends and then that relationship,
And you
got rid of the first boyfriend. That ended really quick.
but it got you here.
It
And
did.
it got you to a beautiful future.
It did. And Jack always says, he's like, we really need to call him up and thank him, for
Right.
getting
I
you,
love
for getting
that.
you down there. But, these are all like Godwinces,
Yes,
right?
they
Right.
are.
When you just look back at it and you're like, wow, who would have thought that would be, the path?
So when did you decide you were ready to not only embark on your own, practice? I mean, it's such an entrepreneurial decision as well.
Yeah. I will have to say.
Is it after the 4 years?
So Barry and I worked together, and then, then he was like, hey, listen, I'm not ready to sell any part of my practice. And I was getting to the point where I was like, okay, I need to establish myself as an owner, somewhere, in some way and somewhere. And he's like, hey, you could continue being an associate, but, I was ready to actually let's put some
Dive
roots
into
down.
this. Yeah.
And honestly, it was my dad and Jack, the two of them that were like, you can
Do this.
You can do this. You can. I mean, I honestly feel like I didn't have the confidence to just say, yes, I'm going to do that at the time. But my relationship with Jack and my relationship with my dad and the two of them were just like, if anybody can do this, you can do this. And I just remember, okay, so Barry and I decided, okay, we're going to part ways. And of course I had, a non-compete, and I wasn't going to go in his backyard. I was like, I live in Delray. I'm going to go to Delray.
Yeah.
That just makes the most sense. I want to raise my family there. I love it. I see how it's changing.
Right, it's growing.
It's growing. And, so many people were suggesting to me that Delray wasn't a great place to put a practice.
Is that wild?
But I lived here and I knew what was going on.
Yep.
And I loved being sandwiched between Boynton Beach and Boca
Yep.
Raton. I again, a vision. Gut vision. I lived here. I knew what was going on. And I said, no, that's perfect. I want to be close to my house. Jack and I are going to start a family. I don't want to be far away. It all makes sense. So that's when I decided to open up my own practice in Delray. And the night before I signed the lease, I remember not sleeping a wink, thinking, oh my goodness.
What am I doing?
What am I doing? And then the moment I signed that lease, I was like, oh, let's go.
So what does that look like? I guess it's so interesting.
Is that the lease for where you are now?
Well,
Or did you start somewhere else?
So my original office was in the Linton Medical Park, which you guys would know it's nearby. It's just before you get to that Poppy's Plaza on the south side.
Yeah.
There's a
Gotcha.
multiple
Exactly.
building complex.
Yeah.
Right. So my first office was
That's where
in
you're
there.
a knee doctor.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes.
You have an orthopedic
Yeah.
doctor in there? Yes. So that's where my first office was. And I was there for 12 years in that
12
space.
years. Wow. Okay.
And you remember Bloods was, of course.
Yes.
I know,
it's
we
our
loved
favorite.
that.
I loved
we did
that
too.
place.
Yeah.
I know.
We used to
And
ride our
when-
bicycles there on
Right.
Sundays.
Wasn't that, I
It
mean,
was
it's
the
so
best.
sad when
Me
they took
too.
I
Yes.
mean, we all were like devastated when they were going to take that
Like
place
great little
away.
snack place.
Oh,
and
the
just a little,
best. They're just
so
that
cute.
that authentic
I know,
Florida, grove where you could just get
True.
fresh produce and flowers and everything.
I
And it was so
know.
sad
Little
when they
gifty thing.
were going
It
to put a
was just-
school in there and then
Yeah.
put, and then sell a property. However, I would drive by that. This is before anything was even on it. I would drive by and I'd be like,
What are they gonna do
I'm
with
like, I
that?
see an office there. I'm like, I just feel my office is there.
Yeah.
And the orange, that's where the orange came from too.
That's so. Oh, I was gonna ask
The
you
orange
about
color
that.
in
The
your
Yes.
office. Really?
Oh,
Wow.
Yes.
like a little
That's the
nod
connection.
to blood.
That's the connection.
I love that.
Because my original logo colors and brand colors were like a deep purple,
Your
and like
other
a gold.
fave.
So
Yeah.
is that really true that the orange
Totally
came
true.
from?
It's again,
Wow. That's
I love the color orange
Yeah.
for so many reasons.
Mhm.
Bright and cheerful
Strong
and
and-
positive
yeah.
and all of that. And I love to use accents in my home with
Yeah.
the orange, as Tiffany knows. But the orange, I thought, well, that's just perfect because Bloods was there. Orange is just
Mhm.
so vibrant and positive and colorful and appeals to kids, appeals to adults. Like it just seemed right again.
So it's another aspect of how design is so wrapped in your life.
yes.
Because besides the fact that you're designing beautiful smiles, beautiful teeth,
Mhm.
beautiful faces, in your office is just a design wonder.
Yeah.
From
and
a standpoint of a medical, like
Yeah.
doctor's office,
It
when
stands
I
out.
first
It
walked
does.
into it,
It stands
I
out.
called Tiffany up because when I first brought the kids,
Yeah.
I said, you have to see this place. She's like, I know, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I said, there's nothing like this. And why don't other doctors or dentists? What an experience it is just sitting there.
Well, I spend the most time there.
Right.
Right. Probably
And I
more
would-
than you are at home.
Exactly. And I think to myself, well, I need to surround myself with quality,
feels
with
good,
detail.
too.
And it's the devil's in the details,
Details,
right?
It
Like
is. And
But it's not just the colors and the materials that you have, just the layout of things, how you have like you walk to the left and the sinks and so
Yeah.
forth. And it's a very cool,
yeah.
fun experience.
Yeah. It was-
Especially for a person like you said earlier, like how you went through when you got your braces. Some people may be on edge. I think it kind of
Mhm.
helps settle them.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
knows you're
yeah.
in good hands.
And I do treat both children and adults. So I needed to appeal to both. I
Right.
didn't want adults to walk in and feel like, okay, they're just in a kid place.
Right. And like,
And I didn't want kids to just walk in and not feel like warm and inviting. So I think we struck that balance.
without
Yeah.
a doubt.
But
yeah.
but it also doesn't feel like you're in like an operating room, like some
Yes, sterile,
Yes, where you-
cold.
No,
Yes.
it's definitely.
Yeah, and we built that office in 2009, 8, 9, right when the crash of the,
Yeah.
Right.
like the,
Real
the housing, residential, and we moved in 2010. So we've been in there 15 years now.
It's wild.
And Tiffany will be coming in to help me with some redesign stuff. We'll refresh, we like the bones are good.
The bones are
I
beautiful.
always say the bones are fine. We don't need to change the bones, but we
Right.
need to update some things
One
that are
thing
worn.
that I've always admired of you personally before I knew you even a little bit was I always had heard of you. And I was always in the most positive way. And as a mom and raising kids here, like I would always see your involvement in everything I attended or an event or community through the school. Even like I feel like my kids would come home trick-or-treating and I'd always like wherever we went in the neighborhood or to a friend's neighborhood, like I was always blown away at how you got the word out. And it was funny because Dr. Matza was my orthodontist and I grew up here. And when it came to that first time we were considering with the kids, somebody told me that you worked with him.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh my gosh, that kind of made me feel like, all right,
a little
like
comfort.
a little comfort.
Yeah.
And then it was also like,
I
you're in
think
Delray and I'm
Right.
in Delray. So it made a perfect match. And
Yeah.
it was a subliminal thing to me too, because all these little things I went through the years, and whether it be little church things at the school, like I
Yeah.
said, your branding was always subtle, but I got it. I got your message.
Yeah.
How did you know to dive in that way? I mean, that was even
you have
before
you have a
media.
very creative side to yourself.
That's
Absolutely.
totally
You know,
before, PR. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it was kind of ahead of its.
I don't know. You just, I don't know how to explain that. But yes, I tell Tiffany all the time, I say, I'm going to come work for you. You don't even have to pay me. Like,
But I look at
the creative side of things. I'm like, I love the limitless.
The brain can go to all those areas.
Have you ever read the book, The Science of Getting Rich?
No.
Oh, you must.
Okay.
You
Every day I write one.
Must,
here.
must. I've given that to my kids. The Science of Getting Rich. And it doesn't necessarily mean
Money.
rich
Yep,
in money.
I understand.
It means rich in so many other ways,
Mhm.
right? Just satisfaction, just personal feelings, happiness, richness in relationships. You
in
can
a life well lived.
you can now it can apply to money, sure, it can lead to that as well. But it talks about the think stuff. It talks about the limitless power of our thoughts and our
we shape
ability to imagine and create. And there's this stuff that you are going to think about, and then all of a sudden you're going to channel that into actually something happening, or I don't know, a panel for a refrigerator or something
Right.
like that. It's like you can vision it, you can see it in your mind, and then you have to
You
start
can make
figuring
it
out how do I
happen.
make that happen. But that's how things start, right?
Right.
That's how
Yes.
things start. So
Yes.
read that book. Give that to your kids.
we
it's-
will definitely.
So
It's
you have a
amazing.
unique blend of, I consider, art and science
Yes.
in what you do. There's the
I-
art
it's
of
the only
making
reason I
a
love
face and teeth beautiful,
Yes.
but then there's, I call it the engineering side to what you
the
do
biology of it.
of like, how are we going to make the art of making your mouth, your
Yeah.
teeth, your
How
face
are we-
beautiful?
It's
Here's the which one do you kind of gravitate
oh
or
man,
like more?
I love them both. I do. I really love them both, and it's what I love about what I do. I mean, I say to patients all the time, I'm like, the beauty of what I do is that, and why I don't get bored,
Mhm.
Yeah,
is
you said
because
that.
every single person who walks through my door has a unique set of circumstances. Now
right.
I get some
Crazy.
identical twins. I get some identical twins.
Really?
here
And do
there.
they have like the same
They
makeup?
have a
on?
lot of similarities, but there's always a slight difference that I can pick up, but many people maybe can't.
Right.
But I can pick things up, right?
That's funny.
You always know, like the
Yeah.
identical twin, right? So there's those, and I've treated many of those. But it's an art and a science. It is a
It is an
absolutely
art
beautiful
and a
blend.
science.
And I say about what I love about being in South Florida. Another thing that I love about being here, because when I was sticking my toes in the sand in December of 1993, when I moved down here,
You were
I was
like,
like,
"Oh."
I am home.
Yeah, this is it. It feels really good right now.
This feels really good. It feels really good to be sitting on the beach in a sweatshirt and a pair of shorts and sticking my toes in the sand. I'm done. We're good. We're good. But I love, love, love South Florida because it is such a diverse group of
Okay,
people from
true.
all over the world. I have people from South America and the islands and Europe and Canada.
It's a
and
melting pot.
it is. And it's like everybody has different values to
A
their
vision.
appearance, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I get sometimes patients who come into me and say, I want to keep my space between my upper front teeth. That's always a trademark of mine. I don't
Really?
like how my lower teeth
Oh,
are crowding.
interesting.
But as orthodontics has evolved and different techniques have come into the fold, and the way we move teeth, we have better options, more options.
Not as
I've-
heavy options.
Yeah, not as aesthetically
Bulky.
unpleasing option. I can do that. I always say custom smiles here. Like I don't have a rubber stamp. I do not have a rubber
Has
stamp.
technology changed over time in terms of?
So changed.
Oh,
yeah,
totally.
so
You know, I mean,
changed.
I was so relieved that you don't have to go make a mold with that stuff
Yes.
anymore.
That's huge. That's another thing I feel like I'm good at assessing. Like there's so many things, of course, in 32 years of practice that have come into my world. Like, oh, do this, do this, do this, and I feel like I'm really good at assessing. Like, is that going to make my team's life, my life, and my patients' lives better? I'm going to sit on that one for a while. That one needs to prove itself to me. But then there's other things like the scanner that you're talking about where it's like, okay, you don't have to take these impressions. Oh, I'm like, sign me up. I'll take 4. Don't, like, there's no hesitation. Like that is going to make my patients' lives better, my team's lives better. You know, and there's just no question. Like that's the way of the future. That's the way we're going.
I mean, even just like with time and the materials, even is
time, materials, comfort of the patient, speed. And just there's so many benefits to it. So many benefits to it. So I first got my first scanner. I was still in my old office, so this must have been like 2005 or 6 or something like that. And I used to say to my team, I'm like, I just want to sleep with it.
I'm so excited. Yeah.
I'm like, I love it so much. This is so great. And they're like, oh my God, we love it too. It's great. And then you guys are familiar with the dental monitoring.
Right, of course. So dive into that for a little bit.
Oh, again, game changer. So going
How
back.
recently has that come about? Has that been around a while?
I didn't introduce it into my practice until 2021, but it was around before that, but not long, maybe 2018. I might have my dates way off, but in terms of practitioners using it, you know, clinicians using it and everything, I think it was more in like the 2017, 18. But it came across my radar from a very good friend, colleague, Dr. Jesse Schrader in Dallas, Texas, who I'm very close to. He was a year ahead of me in my residency. And he's always on top of this stuff too. So that he would call me, Jackie, you have to look at this. This is a game changer. You have to consider this. So
people listening and watching who don't, and maybe have never heard or know what this is where you're taking your cell phone, taking a device that you're giving the patient, and at home, they're using their cell phone to send images back to your office.
Yes.
So you can look and see how they're progressing.
So essentially, I am actually seeing the patients more often than I previously did, but just with a remote monitoring system. Right. So this is a remote monitoring system.
Technology is.
Yes. And it is AI assisted. So let's just talk. Yeah. So let's talk about how it's AI assisted. So, and sometimes you say AI and people freak out. Yeah. Oh my God, you're not seeing us. You're not the one. And I'm like, hang on. I'm like, hang on. We have to understand AI assisted means AI, the actual intelligence has to tell the artificial intelligence what to do, what I need to see in these scans. So going back to the diversity of South Florida, I have patients all over the world.
That's unbelievable.
My patients don't live here full time. Right. A lot of them do, of course, but a lot of them are part-timers. And they go all over. So for me to be able to see their progress, they might be scanning and I might be sleeping. You know, they're in the middle of their day and I'm in bed. So the AI assistant, I have had to program that assistant to say, let's just say it's an Invisalign patient. I have had to program that assistant, and I've programmed them very strict that these are the things I need to see in that scan for that patient to be able to move into their next aligner.
Right.
Now, because it's a very stringent, strict list, there's a lot of times when patients will get a, hey, don't move on. You're not, do not move on. Ready. Because I am going to get into the office and get a full report, whether you got the go-ahead or not. Either way, I always get the full report, okay? And now I spend a lot of my time going through those reports during the day and seeing less patients in the clinic because we've eliminated the unnecessary appointments for people, which is only good for them and for us.
I agree. And I'm sure for Invisalign especially.
Right. So it goes through this checklist. it spits a report back to me, but it also sends a message to the patient. Okay, yes, everything's thumbs up. Go ahead, move on. But I always tell the patients, I'm like, remember, I'm still getting that report. So if I see something that I don't like in that report, I'm going to say, hey, hang on, go back to your old one. Almost never happens. What happens, though, is they'll get a no-go. We call it a no-go. They'll get held up. Hey, stay in that aligner. Then I'll get the full report. I'll look at that and I'll be like, okay, that's okay. Like
It'll still go.
I made it stringent on purpose because I want to make sure that somebody's not getting the go ahead and it really shouldn't have. So
well, it's also a time saver for the patient that
That's what
they don't
I'm
have to be running to your office. And
exactly. And also as a communication tool,
Yeah.
and my team and I have worked really well with how to maximize the benefits of it. It's patients can now send, Tiffany, you're a patient.
Questions.
You have a question. Hey, Dr. Morocco, I noticed this or that or the other thing. That comes directly to me. Now, I have other team members who monitor the message system. But if they see, hey, Dr. Morocco, they assign that to me. Nobody answers that question or touches
so
that
cool.
question. I get that directly. You know what used to happen in the past? You called the office, you spoke to the front desk interpreted what they heard, they wrote a
true.
message to me, then some other details are lost in that message.
lost in translation.
I mean, by the time I get the message, it's not even the right thing. Then I have to end up calling the patient back. Well, I don't have time in my day to call. I would rather just directly message them. Like, you have a problem, you have a question, and it has related to your treatment, send it directly to me. And that's what the app of this program offers.
And I've even noticed, like, it's updating itself all the time, too. Like, the software itself, even just since I've done it, has evolved.
The software has evolved. The device that you connect, like we just had people got an upgraded 17 phone. Well, now we have to adjust how the device works with that 17 phone, which now has there's going to constantly be these modifications that need to be made to accommodate, the hardware and the software. So, but it's a game changer. I can't practice without it. I will not practice without it. Actually, I'm
You're
over.
committed
What I
to
used to
it.
know, what I used to know with patients having to come in for all these extra appointments, no longer. Like, they don't want to see us if they don't have to. Yeah. So if we have a way,
It's streamlining. Like, I mean,
it's better care.
Yeah.
I see them more. I tell you, I see them more. And once they understand that it's actually a higher level of care than it was
I know
before.
you're right. So you have to kind of teach that too.
It's all in how we explain, like, I have to spend this time educating the patient to get them to understand this is a higher level of care,
Right.
Much higher level of care than what you were doing before. And there's also no surprises that walk in my office. Every single patient in my office is on this, except that they're not in treatment yet. And they have an issue or problem. We already know about it. Sometimes before they do. And then we're contacting them like, I noticed a bracket was loose on this tooth. We're going to get you in. And they're like, wow, I didn't even notice that. Or they notice something. They reach out. I noticed a bracket. Great. Okay, which
They're
one?
like, yeah,
Send
you
me
don't
the
have to come
picture.
in.
We'll know exactly. My team's ready. They aren't like deciding what's wrong or figuring out what's wrong. They're like, we know what's wrong. You walk with the girls in the office. They're going to come right back. We're ready for them. We're not wasting your time. It's just smooth down the whole process.
So let's go back to design.
Yeah.
And the design of your office, because it's not just the design of your office that's so unusual. Maybe you can walk us through like how you came up with some of that design. But you've also, from a design standpoint, just how you run the business, you've got so many different things that I think the average person that I've experienced doesn't do. You have like contests going on.
Yeah.
You have
Your
Morocco
money.
dollars. You have there's multiple things that engage.
Yeah.
Like, how did you come up with all these different things?
I can't take full credit for those ideas because a lot of orthodontists have like those things going on. And of course, we get a lot of these ideas from the industry,
Right, okay.
and from practice advisors and, marketing people in our
Well, you
industry.
execute them really well.
So there's
That's where
there's that. So there's the execution and there's the actual just commitment to it, because
So
it's
true.
I mean, as
It's
you
easy to
know,
let
running a
it
business,
slide.
you can make a decision to do something and then you start doing it. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, what happened to that?
Yeah, it fizzles out.
What happened to that idea, right? It fizzles out. So when I'm super passionate about something, I don't allow it to fizzle out, right? And it might even require a periodic modification or update or something.
Tweak, yeah.
A tweak, yeah. When COVID I feel like COVID was this big bomb that came into businesses and just blew up every process.
Everything
that
we
had.
knew, it's true.
It really,
Did that really affect your business from a standpoint of,
not so much
people
from
coming
busy, not so much from busyness. In fact, actually, there was this initial bump because people were on
I'm
Zoom
home,
calls and
yeah.
they're like, "My teeth look horrible." So there was
I love that.
There was actually this and I think most orthodontists out there would agree. Like there was this initial oh my goodness, I had no idea my lower teeth showed that
shifted
way
that
when
bad.
I talk because you're not looking at yourself.
right.
So funny.
So there was this initial kind of a little bit of a lag, and then all of a sudden, boom. Everybody was
busy.
and they're like, "I'm wearing a mask, so let me go through the orthodontics now." There was some reasons to
that's
do it.
so true. There was a few.
So there was this initial bump in production, and then there was kind of a correction, if you will, like a sort of a correction.
levels out.
Yeah, the things, like we said, the commitment to all the little marketing and experiential type
experiential, but like when you're sitting in your waiting room, your lobby,
things. Yeah.
and you've got the TV playing and you've got all these little fun little things about the people who work there.
Yeah.
So you're getting to know the people
Yes.
if you're a new patient, you're going to be learning about these people before you meet them.
Yes. Yes.
You don't see that. That's
a lot of design into creating
an experience
and just
making you
and
feel
all the things,
warmer.
the design of the slides, the design,
All of it.
just
Yes.
all of those things. Yes. And like I said, I can't take credit for those. We talk about those as a team. We have a rhythm to our meetings, to our team meetings, and we're committed to that rhythm. And team members even bring ideas because, they've worked for other offices.
Right.
We did, so they might bring up ideas of things that they used to do, in other offices. And, if it works for us, frankly, with that kind of stuff, I always say, I don't have to reinvent the wheel. What has worked in other places? Let's do that. And then,
Right.
and
Make
then
it
let's-
yours,
and then
customize.
Let's just
Turn
bump
her
that
up.
up. Let's just
Turn
turn
it
that
up.
up. Let's just take that seed of an idea, and then let's just expand it to, we always call it moify it.
Oh, I love that.
Let's just moify. Let's moify that idea,
Because I feel like there are so many facets to it. I mean, you really have, you've nailed a lot of.
And I love all that stuff. I always laugh. I'm like, if I didn't have to see the patients, boy, I could really do some great things with the marketing. I do love the marketing. There was one point in my career where I thought to myself, geez, maybe I should have gone into marketing. And then I thought to myself, oh no, just focus on what you do and keep enjoying all those things, the marketing aspects and the networking aspects. And the whole community thing is, I just was always taught to give back in my life. I really have my mom to thank for that because she was always a giver
Very
of
involved.
time, of, treasure, and never just a generous, and my dad as well. My dad passed away in 2004. My mom lives with us, actually.
I know,
She
so lovely.
she lives with us full time. But they were always giving back to the community. So we were just raised that way. And then, of course, this is my primary community that supports us. I got to give back and support them. So that's why the schools, and it's marketing, no question, but it's also just giving back to your community and supporting your community. And the soccer, I've sponsored the soccer since my kids were little,
Right.
and now they're 24 and 25. I can remember my daughter running around at 3 years old on this soccer field
With a
over there.
Morocco shirt.
Yeah, the Morocco shirts, and those were
But
things
you
like
really have
St.
created
Vincent's, the whole sponsoring the
fair,
festival.
the festival, yeah.
The way that I got that opportunity was they used to have a car dealership that sponsored their T-shirts, and then one year somebody pulled out. I want to say it. I think it might have been around 2008, 2000, like right around that time.
And you're like,
I was like, oh, heck yeah,
I'll
I'm going to
take
get
that.
those T-shirts.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll take that
but
sponsorship.
to really have that insight, in my opinion, I mean, is pretty impressive for you. It says a lot.
It's natural for me. So it's like when I think about impressive, I'm thinking, is it really impressive? Or it just comes naturally, I guess.
Well, because not only are you really, really great at what you do, but you really have created staying power. I mean, you've built a brand. I mean, what is next, like, for Morocco besides like the office refresher?
Yeah, we're going to refresh the office. Yeah, and that's going to be fun, because I've already got some thoughts around that. But we're going to keep doing what we do. I mean, I always say, as long as God is giving me my health, and I love just, again, the brain stuff and the think stuff around what's the next, where the next steps in the practice, continuing to grow. I still want to do what I do, and I just want to continue to take it up to the next level. And like I tell my kids, I say, I grind every day. They're just getting their career started, right? They're figuring out, what's the right path for me. My son's always been in the lane that he likes, and my daughter really, frankly, has.
Have either one of them ever considered getting involved with you?
Unfortunately, not. So eventually,
has that been a conversation at all? Or
never. Never. They've never really wanted to go down the path of orthodontics per se. I think Kate will definitely end up in some area of the healthcare world, but not as an orthodontist. But eventually, I'll find that person who wants to eventually become a permanent part of the practice, and eventually, like a legacy practice, eventually transition it to that person. But they've got to have the passion and the love for it that I do. And that person will come along. Again, it'll be a Godwin's gut feeling.
Yep, you'll know.
Yeah, you'll know.
Have you ever thought of opening a second office?
No. I actually don't want one.
Yeah.
Now that doesn't mean that if somebody comes in and they become an ultimate, like, start sharing in the ownership and things like that, if they had that vision, I wouldn't necessarily be against it. I would want to support their vision as well. I wouldn't necessarily be against it. And I'd certainly be happy to contribute my experience and knowledge and vision, et cetera, to that. But I want to go to one. Like, I just want to
Makes sense, actually. And that's probably what we appreciate so much, of all that energy that is put into one.
Yeah. I'm also practical. Like I wanted to be able to have my kids and spend time with them. And luckily I had a husband who was super supportive, or have a husband who has been super supportive in that. He often says that he's actually happy that I had the practice and had that part of my life, because it actually forced him to adjust his schedule to be able to spend time with the kids as well.
Same, right?
He's always been, 100% involved and there and present, and certainly is easier to get in touch with than I am, because when I'm with patients, it's better now but when I was with patients, it was like my kids could not call. They would call Dad. Because Dad, was on the phone. Dad was always had his phone with him, and that's great. It's a beautiful thing. So, So I think that's.
So going back to even the design of smiles.
Design of smiles.
I mean, to me, it fascinates me, I guess, because I kind of went through it recently.
Well, that's a tagline of yours, correct?
My tagline is more to smile about. Yeah,
I like that
more
too.
to smile about. Yeah,
I like that too. I mean, when you obviously have all these super interesting cases and everything, what is the first thing that you tackle in your process? Obviously correcting, but is it you move? I mean, I still don't even understand the process. Yeah, and I've gone through it.
Of course, meeting the patient first, and the interview, the initial exam, the consultation. huge. I tell people all the time, especially with adults, right? Adults come in with a whole history of things. And most of the adults that I'm seeing have a lot of complexities to their case. They have a history of TMJ problems. They have a history of periodontal problems, maybe recession, bone loss. They have a history of missing teeth, restored teeth. There's a whole history. And you have to look at all those things and take them into consideration in the treatment plan. And many of them, if we're focusing on adults at the moment, are referred for what we call pre-prosthetic ortho, which means I'm going to have the orthodontics to set up a better foundation so then my dentist, prosthodontist, whoever can then restore. I always say build my house on it. I always say I'm the foundation builder. Right. That's what I call myself with a lot of adult cases. And then there's some adults that just come in for the aesthetic component and they just want to, refresh and straighten things up. Right. And there's that. So there's a whole host of them. There's a whole host of the others. So getting back to what's the process, the initial interview is huge.
Well, I want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing that I've recognized. What's the first thing when you go to your office? Is you get a tour.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, how do you bring people into your home? Yeah. I tell my team, I'm like, we are bringing people into our home. How do you greet people and bring them into your home? Don't you want to show them where things are?
No,
Don't you want to make them feel welcome? And
when I first took two of our girls to your office, and they said, well, let's take you for a tour. I was like, really? Tour? I thought to myself, we're going to see a museum?
Yeah.
But then when they showed around, I thought, wow, this is like very cool.
Yeah, yeah.
It made you feel like at home.
Yeah, and they could just be like, hey, let's just show you around a little bit so you know where the restroom is, so the girls know where they can come in and brush their teeth, before their appointment, It's just
it's another thing that...
It's just being considerate. It's like...
But it's also another thing you don't experience going to other doctors and dentist offices, at least from my perspective.
Oh, I always say to my team, I'm like, how frustrated do you get when you go to doctor's offices? Because we know
you're doing it right.
Emphasis, we know the emphasis that we put on welcoming people, and they feel the energy the moment they walk in.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's an energy thing. You don't even have to say anything. It's just an energy thing. And I want people greeted by name the moment they walk in the door. Welcome, and again, if I don't stay, if I'm not giving my team the message that is my expectation, they're not going to do it.
No, I know.
But they know that's my expectation. So they know I'm going to be
a stickler.
I was taught at a young age in the retail business. My father had grocery stores, and I opened up a chain of them here in South Florida.
Yeah.
First impression and last impression was a key for us. And you have really mastered, because that first impression when you come in, how they give a tour, it's a great impression that you're sitting there and you're feeling really comfortable. And then the last impression, how my kids have left, and each time when they get the money and whatnot, they're excited about. It's really well designed.
Well, it's great to hear that feedback, because we need that feedback, and we want good and bad. I always tell my team, I'm like, we
share it all.
Share it all, because sometimes when we fail or do something wrong or just have the impression that something was wrong,
right?
I want to know, because how can I continue to get better? We can actually create a better fan out of someone that had a problem or an issue. How did we handle it? How did we handle it? I'd like to hear that feedback. Like, hey, we had an issue, but they jumped right on it. They took care of it.
Here too. It's like, obviously we don't live in a perfect world. Things are going to come in damaged. There's going to be a timeline. I mean, those are just the facts of life.
It is.
It's how we handle it. Keep people in the loop on how we're dealing with it.
Give them some
options. A lot of communication.
Yeah. But, people remember how they feel before they remember other things, right?
Yes.
It's how did you make them feel? Did they feel special? Did they feel listened to?
Yeah.
So again, the adults, we assess all that. We, of course, have stuff from their dentists, and and I say to them, I'm like, the most important time we spend together is before you do anything, because I want to make sure that you feel like we've listened, that we have a good plan moving forward. And then once we start the plan, there's less questions and less questioning, about what's going on. And I don't care about how much time I spend on it going out, because you know what? It's only going to benefit me and my team that person knows what's happening. And the kids, of course, are a little easier in the sense that they don't have these histories, with bone loss and TMJ.
Right.
They're coming in clean. They're coming in clean.
Maybe with a cavity.
And we also don't want to create those things for them, right? So we do need to be attentive to their biology, to their bite, to the way they're growing, all of those things. Their dental history, because some have dental history too. But of course, they're a little bit more, straightforward in terms of, how we're going to treat them, et cetera. But again, do no harm. I want to make sure we don't create those things for them. And if there are risks involved with that, we want to talk about them ahead of time, not after it happens.
And is there like a perfect time to start a child?
Yeah, that's just funny. This came up yesterday with my team. We did we always, once a quarter, we do a full team meeting and culture event. So yesterday we went to Sur La Table. We did cooking.
You?
Yeah, we did
I
cooking.
love going there.
It's so fun. Yeah, we've done that before, and it's a great culture.
That's awesome.
Time to spend together. But in our team meeting before we went there, we talked about, ideal time. And I always say to my team, I'm like, look, there's no real ideal time, but yes, it's nice to see kids when they're maybe in that 7, 8, 9 year range of time, just for like an initial exam. Honestly, most kids don't need to start anything at that point, but there's definitely some. Parents always question that, like if they're coming in at 7, 8, 9, like, why are we here?
Right.
Unless they have a good referral source that explained to them what they want me to look at, right? And there are plenty of good ones out there that do explain that going in. But then a lot of times parents are still questioning, like, shouldn't we just wait until all the permanent teeth come in? And I'm like, well, sometimes that's fine, but then other times that can be a problem. There's no rubber stamp. Once again, let's go back to design and differences and different faces, shapes of teeth. Like, this is design, right? Like, I have to have a vision. I can't have a rubber stamp and my rubber stamp fits into every single face. No, you cannot do that. Although sometimes in our profession that happens in offices, because they say this is the way we do things and we do this thing the same way on every patient. I don't. I am not a believer in that, because then that ends up like, hey, that works for that person, but that didn't work for that person.
Right.
It doesn't work like that.
We're not built that
so
way.
I just would rather spend the time up front diagnosing, treatment planning, treatment plan. Once the treatment plan's in place, then it's just, we need to make the treatment plan happen, and we can do it our end, but then the patient has to do it their end.
Work too.
So that's where your differences can come out, because some patients aren't as compliant as others.
Do you think they'll ever get to a time where like they don't use the metal bracket system anymore?
It's a great question. It's come up so many times. I have to say, metal braces have had a comeback. Like, they've become more popular recently. Like, they've been more kids and even some adults have been like, I don't want the Invisalign. I won't wear it. Just put the braces on me. And you know what? I'm going to put the metal ones on.
I don't need
adults
the clear.
Have done that. Some adults have done that. But I don't think it will go away 100%, because there's just times when it's way more efficient and effective. And I wish I could show you pictures of why, but if I did, you'd be like, I get it. Yeah, it would be no question. And that's what we have to understand. There's such, like, even in your world, there's not one thing that's going to go away completely. You know, maybe 80% of the cases will be able to be treated by aligner therapy, but there's always going to be a percentage of cases, either because of the complexity or compliance. Some patients just aren't going to wear them. I am a perfect example. I didn't not want to wear aligners, so I put braces in my 40s. I did them behind the upper front teeth and the lower front teeth, but I'll I'll never do that to someone again. The lower front teeth is tough. You can't keep them clean. It's really hard.
Huh.
But the uppers, I had them on and behind the teeth, and that worked well. Sometimes we do that on patients that, have an aesthetic concern about showing, showing something. But yeah, there's lots of options. I don't think one of them's going to go away 100%, but they are going to advance and become different and maybe be a little less visible or smaller or whatever. Those things will continually change.
So in your industry, like obviously in mine, we have, markets and design shows and designer houses and, all kinds of, design, or I should say
conventions,
partners,
conferences, things like that.
What are some that you look forward to in your industry?
Oh, so trying to think what I have coming up. So I still use Invisalign as my fabricator for my aligners.
Mm-hmm.
They don't fabricate anything I don't design. Like I have to plan the treatment, and then they are the ones who have the software to help me with that. And then they're the ones who, once I say, okay, I'm happy with this treatment plan and how these teeth are moving, then they make. So
and where are they manufactured?
They have multiple sites, throughout throughout the U.S. and even abroad. But that's the company I use. So they always have conferences and things. They offer a lot of continuing education opportunities for doctors, teams, et cetera. And then, of course, now that Invisalign their patents have expired, and now there's lots of other companies that are out there. A lot of other clear aligner companies. But the most popular name that people recognize is Invisalign. But people are starting to recognize some other names, some other like Angel Aligners and Spark. There's a bunch of new companies out there that fabricate aligners. So that's aligner treatment. And then there's a ton of companies that have different types of braces and brackets. Like there's different features to the brackets without going into all designs. There's so many different designs of brackets, and the advantages are different disadvantages to those designs. And so there's companies out there that specialize in those designs.
So interesting.
Is there one conference or convention that's like the go-to?
So,
we can go and see.
Yeah. All those options. Yes.
Like
so the
Tiffany,
American,
it's the High Point.
Yeah. So the American Association of Orthodontists has a big, huge meeting every year. So you go to that, and all the companies are there representing their products, and you have the kind of like your market. We go into the main room, and there's everybody. You can look at every marketing things. You can look at.
And do they send your reps coming in the area?
Yes.
And
less and less. Like the reps, the reps.
That was a thing, right? Like
reps are tough. I'm like, I don't really. It's funny. Jack and I were talking about this about his business. He's like, how do I get in front? I got to get in front of. He has home healthcare agency, and they like to deal with their. They deal mainly with, private pay clients. And, he was talking about how do we get in touch, or how do we get in front of, certain people that can refer them the client that they want. And I said, I get that, because I don't really want to see a rep coming into the office. He's like, we can't just show up in people's offices. I go, no, you can't. No. You have to figure out a whole other way.
Recently put a note on the door, like, if you don't have an appointment.
Us too.
And so we tell them
I'm
now.
in the middle of patients. I don't want to see somebody.
I know.
They know that. So you have to be, again, getting back to creativity, you have to be creative with how do you get in front of people? Yeah. Even me anymore, because a lot of dentists like to keep orthodontics in their office too. Oh, now they can do Invisalign. Oh, I do Invisalign with my dentist. I don't need to see an orthodontist. I'm like, there's a total difference.
There is.
There's a whole, I'm like, I do this all day, every day. I know the problems that can occur and will occur. And there's a whole different level to the treatment plan.
So at a young age, 16, 17, which I consider to be young, you set yourself in a direction
in
life and in a career and so forth. So through all those years, and I always like to ask people this question, has anything ever popped up into your head or thought about, wish I had maybe tried but did something else? Is there something else that you've kind of like thought, I would have liked to have
Well, it's just interior design, as I always say to Tiffany, because I've done 2 renovations on my house in the past, and now I'm working on another one with her. And I always think to myself, wow, had I known more about this, or had a mentor come in front of me at 15, 16, 17, like you had that in your life, right? That was in your life. And so there was your inspiration and there was your vision. I think that all is God's way. Honestly, it's like who's in your life, who's your inspiration, who helps you create your vision for your life. So, but as I did my homes and everything, I thought to myself, wow, this is really so interesting because again, the design elements are limitless. The ideas are really limitless. There's nothing you can't do if you can't think about it, right? And so many. As why we're here, in so many professions. I love the whole concept of the podcast, right?
The design of
and how it applies to so many different,
and what a beautiful story. So thank you for sharing yours.
I appreciate being here. It was so much fun. Yeah, it's great.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna ask any questions at the end today. Let's do. Because.
Tiffany always has a little group of.
I love that.
I know. So tell us your favorite hotel design-wise and experience, because I know you're well traveled. So
yeah. So have you ever been to Casa Malca in Tulum?
Oh, so it's funny how many people love Tulum.
Yeah. Tiffany did a house in Tulum about a year ago.
Go to Casa Malca in Tulum.
That's another thing I'm writing.
When I saw that question, I thought, okay, I immediately was like, oh my, and it's a visceral thing, right? You have to go there because
what makes it, what is it?
Is that the bird nesty one or no?
I've been to that one before and I can't remember even what that's called. That didn't do it for me.
You.
Like Casa Malca. See, and my home is this way. Like Casa Malca does the most beautiful job. I don't even know who designed it. I don't even know who built it, but they do the most beautiful job, in my opinion, of my aesthetic, which is I want to blend contemporary, traditional, Asian color, organic nature.
Yeah.
They blend it all. So amazing. So
is it a boutique hotel or is it a big hotel?
Yeah, no, it's a boutique hotel. Yeah, it's a very special place. And the restaurant in there, one of them, I haven't been to others, but Philosophia is the name of the restaurant. So, I mean, you just see like Asian rugs on the floor, and then you've got traditional furniture with these fabrics that are, and when we were in another place that really is just amazing, if I can remember, we stayed at a guest house in South Africa in Cape Town, and I took so many pictures of this place because same thing. It just blended everything that my aesthetic has a visceral, like I just had a visceral reaction to this place. And I took pictures of the contemporary couch with the traditional chairs, but the fabric that was more traditional oriented, and then the Asian pieces and the organic pieces and how they blended everything together. And that's what does it for me.
When there's all that beauty available, why just be simple, There's
exactly. And it's like someone will come into my house and want to throw up. They'll look at it and they'll be like, that does not work for me. I don't get it. Yeah. I don't get it. That's just the uniqueness of the individual, preferences and what you're drawn to, But those are the ones that come to mind.
Is there a restaurant design that pops in your head?
Philosophia is the one. Yeah. So it's like everything at Casa Malca, the hotel and the restaurant and the whole thing.
I'm going to Google it next.
You have to, and you wait till you see the rooms. Like wait till you see how the rooms are decorated. It's interesting that people bring up Tulum. I just feel like I can let my hair down there. I don't have to put an ounce of makeup
Right.
on.
It's a freeing. So there's a lot to be said
I always
about
say tribal.
that.
I feel like I'm a tribal. I don't know. Maybe there's some Inca
It's that funny.
But I'm like,
there's a freedom that must, comes along with being
You're just
there.
you're like one with nature because everything's like open air. You know,
Yes.
like things aren't all built out.
Right.
You're just walking all in the streets in these beautiful boutiques and they're just open air. And you're like, oh my God, I'm under the sun, the moon, and the stars, and there's these trees, and it's very cool. I hope it doesn't get spoiled. I heard it might even be open building an airport down there. My husband said, they're building an airport to get into Tulum, and I go, that's a horrible idea.
Right?
That's a horrible idea. They're going to
it's like about an hour and 20 minutes, is it, from
Cancun?
It's actually longer. I think it's like, maybe it's an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know. I've been there several times, but I haven't been there. We took our kids there in January of 2021. When I was looking for where can we go and get out and into the country without testing at that time.
Yeah.
You didn't have to test. It was crazy.
Gosh.
And I took my kids there and they're like, tell us about it, Mom. I said, I can't describe
you gotta
it.
go.
You have to just, I can't describe it. I go, you're just going to have to go there
and feel it.
And they were like, OMG. They loved it. They were loving it so much. We took them to Casablanca. I have all kinds of pictures. I'll show you some pictures of them and these little, and they have these little vignettes, where you can take these pictures, They always call it the most Instagrammable, one of the most Instagrammable places. And it's true. They have Tulum as a whole. And you have to be on the beach part. You cannot be. People say, I'm going to Tulum. I'll be, where are you staying? They're like, oh, it's all inclusive. I'm like, no, that's not Tulum. I'm like, no, you have to be on the little beach road. It's like a dirt road. It's literally two, and you have to stay in these boutique hotels that are close. I could show you the area to stay away from in the area that it's okay to stay, but you have to be able to walk everywhere. You can't get
Makes
if
sense.
you get in a cab, you're in this two-lane little dirt road, and it's like nothing
in
but
Mexico.
traffic.
Yeah,
crazy, but yeah, Casablanca. You look that up. Yeah,
well,
that's great.
we all need to take a trip there.
Yes. Don't bring any. I always tell I'm like, don't bring any makeup.
Don't
bring
even
makeup.
need a hair dryer, right?
You do not. My hair has just become curly and crazy, and I pull it back in a headband. I'm happy as could be. So,
well, thank you, Dr. Morocco.
Thank you. It was great to be here.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. This was a lot of fun.
I know, it is a lot of fun. Thank you for tuning in. Check back iDesign Lab.
iDesign Labs podcast is an SW Group production in association with the 5-Star and TW Interiors. To learn more about iDesign Lab or TW Interiors, please visit twinteriors.com.